What's going on, family? What's going on? What's going on? Thank God. All praises and thanks to God. Big God. You know what I'm saying? And when I say God, I'm not talking about gold, oils, and diamond here. Let me say it again. When I'm talking about God, I ain't talking about gold, oil, and diamonds here. I'm talking about the divine source, the divine creator. You know what I'm saying? The ultimate authoritarian. You know, you know what I'm saying? That person that manifested himself and died for our sins. That guy. You know what I'm saying? And established a way for us to be a part of his body so that we can be eternal beings. You know what I'm saying? That's a blessing. You know? That truly, truly is a blessing. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to talk real quick, you know what I mean? Just vent a little bit like I always do. You know what I'm saying? My profile picture, I got my daughter on there. I've been kind of wanting to drop that news, but it's like sometimes you got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? And just make sure everything going right, you know, and my wife gives me the green light. I can't, do anything without her giving me the green light, especially when it pertains to what's hers. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just put the profile picture. That's my daughter. You know what I mean? That's my daughter right there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thankful for that. My first child, I'm so thankful for that. You know what I'm saying? Humble beginnings and raising a child is not an easy thing. I see, like, oh my goodness. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The wham, the crying, and it's a blessing. It humbles you and it gives you life more meaning. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, when you see with God created his own children. I'm pretty sure it gave him more meaning. You know what I'm saying? You know, and the love for that God has for us is a different type of love. You get what I mean? Let me just describe the different type of love that God has. You know what I'm saying? When God manifested himself, incarnated as the Son that people know as Jesus Christ, right? You know what I'm saying? Incarnated himself as a human being, and he felt everything we felt. He had emotions just like we had emotions. He got hungry just like he got hungry. He cried just like we cried. He felt pain just like we felt pain. You know what I'm saying? He felt everything, empathy, everything that we felt, experienced everything that we experienced. So it could be no excuse. Not just being some sovereign being sitting on the throne, but actually manifests himself as his own child. You know what I'm saying? Manifests himself as his own child just to show life. I can do it, you can do it. And this is how deep the love goes. This is how Almighty God is. You know what I'm saying? If anybody else was sitting on that throne and had the power of creation, then if I got sent to this tiny pebble of a planet compared to the whole multiverse, and these people are treating me so foully, and I created these people, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling them my kingdom is not of this world. I'm telling them all these things. You know what I'm saying? I'm healing. I'm fulfilling prophecy and stuff like that. And these people still do you so wrong, spit on you, beat you, getting ready to crucify you. Even the disciples among you, one of them betrayed you with a kiss for money. If anybody else was sitting on that throne and that extent of betrayal, and you're that sovereign, you would have just erased the whole planet and started over. You would just be like, man, snap of a finger, planet gone. Poof, everybody gone. You know what I'm saying? How dare these people? I created these people. How dare them? Everything gone. Shoo. You know what I'm saying? Destroyed, utterly destroyed, obliterated. Not even in a place of torment. Just out of here. You know what I'm saying? Just erased from existence completely, gone. And then just would have created a new type of beings. You know what I'm saying? But That's divine love. God didn't just destroy everything. You know what I'm saying? God didn't just destroy everything once he said it is finished. When Jesus said it was finished, the prophecy was finished, that of the being the Passover lamb, the sacrificial lamb. It was finished. You know what I'm saying? You know, but he also stated that in the last days, I will raise you up in the last days. So that shows 2,000 years ago wasn't the last days that he was going to raise his people up. So it was finished for that era. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get that thing, oh, it is finished. It's finished, so shoot, we ain't got to do nothing. Christ did it all for us. No, still say at the last day he will raise us up. Maturity. He will raise us up. You know what I'm saying? We will grow in the faith. We will be raised. We will not be spiritual babies. This is the divine love that God has for us. He could have, when it was finished, everything, judgment day should have been right then and there. Judgment day should have been right then and there. Why did he postpone judgment day to these last days? And it's a significance behind that. You know what I'm saying? It's a significance behind that. And we just be thankful for God's love, God's mercy, and God's grace. You get what I'm saying? Because right now, we living in some really, really dark times. We live in dark times. Now, 2,000 years ago, that was some dark times. You know what I'm saying? That was dark times. So history repeats itself. There's nothing new under the sun. You know what I'm saying? They had dark times in 2,000 years ago. We having dark times now, psychologically, and just the perversion of society and just the coldness. And people was cold 2,000 years ago. Look at the history of Rome. Them Romans were bloodthirsty. They were cold. They were bloodthirsty. They were bold and cold. You know, and nowadays, people play nice and they cold. Back then, it was worse. Bump that. Back then, scratch all the technology. Back then, it was worse. Them people were bold and cold, straight in front of your face, bloodthirsty. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it was supposed to happen. We're living in the times now, you know what I mean, that the people are getting cold with the people. Like, we in a system. You know what I'm saying? The system is designed like the movie The Matrix in a way. Scratch all the science fiction, which might not be science fiction with the robots taking over and stuff like that, but scratch all that part. But the Matrix, watch it again. Watch it with spiritual eyes. That's why so many TIs compare their gang stalking program and their wisdom and gemstones, and all type of people, walks of life, always compare things with the Matrix. It was so spot on. And the thing about it, the Matrix was written by a black woman, Sophia Stewart. And the Wachowski brothers took it to Hollywood and ran with it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That was the Oracle, Sophia Stewart. You know what I mean? Just broke it down, broke it all the way down. You know what I mean? So in this Matrix, you have to work. You have to work. Many people want to get out of this Matrix. They want to get out of the Matrix. How they do it? They become homeless. They stop working and stuff. They be the broke woke, or they live inside their cars. They live inside their vehicles and try to escape. You know what I'm saying? And just try to have the best life that they can. Well, ever since, Trump got, voted in, this whole Make America Great Again thing, you know what I'm saying, really is like cracking down on homeless people, even people in their vehicles and cars, because they look at it like you're on the land, you're not paying taxes. You're on the land and you ain't paying no taxes, and you making money, you ain't paying no taxes. You know what I'm saying? They very serious on, you know what I'm saying, if you own U.S. soil, you gotta pay your percentage. If you're not a child, you know what I'm saying, you have to, if you're not mentally retarded or something, you have to pay your percentage. You know what I'm saying? You have to pay your percentage. So the thing about it is now they cracking down on people with vehicles. They had a lady had an RV, I think somewhere in California or something. She had an RV. You know, she living out nomad life out there in the woods, ain't bothering nobody, doing her own thing. Once all these crackdowns start coming in, them folks came and they repoed her RV. I don't know if repoed. They just towed her RV. They towed it. You know what I'm saying? Because she's not paying for the land or the property that she's at. Now they got it where if you're homeless, and you're staying in the vehicles, they stricken down on parking lots. You can't, like, just a couple years ago, if this would have been effective, I would have been messed up. Woo, me and my wife would have been messed up. We was homeless in her car. We was in her car, staying in her car for a while and just sleeping parking lot. You know what I mean? It was a good thing Joe Biden was in there. Now, Joe Biden and Democrats, they ain't too much different. They show a little bit, you know what I mean? They show a little bit of slack. But the thing about it with Joe Biden and them, with the Democrats, they closed down all the mental health facilities. They closed down all the mental health facilities. You know what I'm saying? And now the mental health people are just out here, you know what I mean, on some like Batman Dark Knight Rises type stuff. When Bane released the prisoners, they just released these insane people. And now the program can capitalize off of that, thanks to Joe Biden, can capitalize off the mental health people and use them as weapons like Matrix 4. These people might jump out the building on us and take themselves out just to take us out. You know what I'm saying? Like the radical. I forgot. It's a certain sect of Muslims. All the Muslims don't take themselves out, and that's no disrespect to the Islam culture. But there is an irrational cult sector of the Muslims. I forget. It's something with a W, but they be the ones that they'll take themselves out. They think they'll be rewarded in paradise with the virgins and stuff like that, and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same, the mental health structure, they let the mental health free, so they'll be the ones that crash out. You know what I mean? How my motel got burnt down that one time because the mental health person, the facilities is closed down. You know what I mean? Government taking care of the mental health people and not having them in buildings or facilities, just have them running rampant out here. You get what I'm saying? Just to blend in so that the TIs won't get no justice. You get what I'm saying? It's just that deep family. You know what I'm saying? So Democrats ain't too much different. But now with the two wings of the same bird, two wings of the same beast. You know what I mean? Which is in the book of Revelation. You got the beast of the earth, which is the ram with the two horns. The ram with the two horns. You know what I'm saying? America. You get what I'm saying? Two horns. Two rulerships, you know what I'm saying? Republican and the Democrats. You know what I mean? Them people, you know what I'm saying? Uncle Sam. So now with the Republicans, now with Donald Trump, with his whole thing of trying to make America great again. You know what I'm saying? Ushering homeless people, doing them dirty. Kind of remind me of my wife was talking about it, the movie Legion. At the beginning of the movie Legion, the police officers talking to each other like, oh man, we need to clean this city up. You know what I'm saying? And they pointed like with their fingers, made their fingers look like a gun and pointed and like pow pow towards the homeless people. You know what I'm saying? Predictive programming. Now, you know what I'm saying? They targeting homeless people. They don't like the fact that these people are living off the land. They like criminals. Like, they don't like the fact that the criminals can make money tax-free. You get what I'm saying? Selling their drugs, selling whatever they selling, they not capitalized. You got to remember, America is a corporation. It's a business. They need to make their percentage off everything. You know what I'm saying? They be thinking they God. You know what I'm saying? God created everything. God just want 10%. They, you know what I'm saying? They go off that system. A lot of the political leaders, they might not believe in the Bible, but they go off the Bible. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people in the secret societies, they go off the Bible. They don't follow the commandments of the Bible. They twist the Bible, and it's a lot of occultic secrets and stuff contained, and they twist it, distort the Bible, and they have their codes inside the Bible. There's codes inside the Bible. There's ways that they understand the Bible in a different way, and it just made it dark. But needless to say, they're attacking homeless people. It wasn't like that before. They are really attacking homeless people. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be in parking lots anymore, Walmart parking lots, sleeping. A person called the police, be like, I think a person is suspicious of being homeless, and boom, they find you homeless. They can tow your car. They can take your car away. You know what I'm saying? They can give you a ticket and tell you, like, boom, you can't be here. So all they'll do is just bloom, you know what I'm saying? And if we keep getting calls that you trespassing on property and stuff like that, they'll just lock you behind up and tow your car. They really cracking down. Only places you can go to is like out of the city where they have the RVs. You have to, like, the RV camp spots. You have to pay. You have to pay. You have to pay. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're in a vehicle, you have to pay for the area that you're at. That's where they're getting to. You know what I'm saying? The whole point of it is they trying to crack down on this whole broke woke where people think they escaped the matrix. Y'all think y'all gonna escape the matrix and not be able to pay? Y'all gotta work just like everybody else gotta work. And that sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, that sucks. I thought America was the land of the free and opportunity. You know what I'm saying? If people don't want to participate in the matrix, if they don't want to have a nice house, nice home, they don't, you know what I'm saying? They want to live out in the woods. You know what I'm saying? Not bothering people off the grid. Shoot, let them. Why do they have to pay? Let them. That's making America great again. If they want to be sectioned off somewhere, I understand about the homeless people just roach infesting, rat infesting the city. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But them people are human, and I was homeless too. So I was in that same shoes too. But I get it though. You know what I mean? People pay good money and they want to go in these cities and they want to enjoy. They don't want to see a lot of people sleeping in tents around a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Smoking dope. I get that. You know what I mean? They're tired of going to gas stations and people harassing them, begging them for change. I get that. I used to be the person at the gas station begging folks, you know what I'm saying, for change. So I understand that. But I'm talking about people that's minding their own business on the outskirts, chilling, relaxing. You know what I'm saying? This is not paying, and they still getting told. People still going all out their way to move these people to, you know what I mean? They don't have nothing else. Take they RVs, all their clothes and belongings, and out there, and they just crying. It's just sad. It's sad what the government is doing. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, where's the empathy? Where's the make America great again? Now, as far as the country, like the rural, when I say country, I don't mean like I mean like rural areas, RURAL, rural areas, like outskirt type areas. If people want to be home, let them be out there in the outskirts and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Let them survive on the outskirts and stuff. You know what I mean? It's just like you should just get them away from urban areas. You know what I'm saying? That would be making America great again. But they on a point where they just trying to crack down, period. If you ain't paying at all, we don't care if you're in the country. If you're on U.S. soil and you're not paying anything to be on that U.S. soil, you're not paying. You have to pay your way on U.S. soil. That's basically what they're saying. We're going back to that. You have to pay your way on U.S. soil. You can't just sit here unless we have you in some type of facility, some type of, you know what I mean? But why would you want to put homeless people in facilities, but you're not putting mental health people in facilities? So you look at mental health people better than homeless people. You get what I'm saying? They let the mental health people run rampant, but they not letting the homeless people run rampant because they not. So you got to see, it's not really cleaning up. It's just the whole business aspect of this thing. They want their money. They not playing out here. They want their money. You know what I'm saying? That's the real mafia. You know, people just in these political suits and stuff like that, they just found out a way to make gangster look more organized and clean and play nice. They not bold and cold like how they was, like how they want to be. You know what I'm saying? They really want to show their horns. They really want to show their horns. But you know what I'm saying? They can't show their horns. So they gotta play nice. They gotta play religious. They gotta play all these different ways to play. You know what I'm saying? But they ain't really playing. You know what I'm saying? This ain't making America great again. It's not making America great again. You know what I'm saying? It's putting people in their place. That's what it is. You know, so it's just disgusting of a society that we live in. You know what I'm saying? But I count my blessings. But I'm telling you, family, work for what you got. Work, cause life gonna be hard if they can get you, if they can trick you out your position, if they can trick you out your job, if they can trick you to with all these gurus on YouTube talking about you don't have to work. Talking about bumping 9 to 5, talking about living off the grid. Living off the grid is going to be hard now with Trump in the office because they're cracking down. You can't live like that. Even if you got a vehicle, unless you're paying for that property that you're in. Now, if you pay for that property, if that property is yours or they're renting out some type of space, you're okay. But if you think you just live out in the woods and you ain't paying nothing and stuff like that, that's not okay. You know what I'm saying? They look at it as government, it's U.S. soil. You know what I'm saying? It's their property. And you got to pay your way. So stop listening to these people on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? This broke woke phase. Your life is going to be harder. Yeah, we had a time where we were homeless and we had a time for a break. This ain't the time for the break. You know what I'm saying? It's time to depend on God and work. Yes, we have to play these matrix games. Yes, we have to play the system games, but we have to get by, especially if you have dependents out there. Now that I got my baby girl, yeah, I got to do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? I got to take that sacrifice. I got to go through that physical labor pain just to make a gain and make sure everybody's all right. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm on. You know what I mean? Bump everything else. Bump trying to be the tough guy. That's why I said I had to break out of that tough guy program because it's not just about me. I'll be lame out here. Yes. And wear that L. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just as long as I can work, do my labor, the L for labor. Do my labor and make a little bit of paper. I bump the neighbors, you know what I'm saying? I respect the neighbors, but bump all that. Bump all them jump scares they try to do, you know what I'm saying? The little jump scares and stuff like that with the noise campaign, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't hear noise from a distance, it pops up on you. Boom, noise, you know what I'm saying? Like a horror movie, you know, you get adjusted to that, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you have to live in that because of TI, our programming is going against the Matrix programming. So now they're really cracking down. Say they working from the bottom to the top. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to pay your way now. You're going to have to pay your way. But you put God first, you know what I'm saying? You step out on faith. You can't be lazy, family. That's just bottom line. You can't be lazy. You know what I'm saying? If you got a support system, hey, if you got a mouthpiece out here, and you know what I'm saying, you want to moosh. If you that lazy and you can't do a 9 to 5 like that. If you got a mouthpiece where you can talk some of these, because people out here lonely. They lonely. Some people lonely. So it's just like boom. But guess what? When you under somebody else's household, you got to go by their rules. You still a slave to their system. You know what I'm saying? But I went through that, you know, that phase. You know what I'm saying? Stand from place to Papa's Rolling Stones, stand from place to place. Even was staying with some fat chicks. You know what I'm saying? Like chicks that wasn't looking all that good, but they were keeping a roof over my head and stuff like that. So I went through that lazy phase. I get it. You know what I mean? I understand. But for those that don't want to be lazy, for those that don't want to go out sad like that. I had a lot of sad moments. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I did. But boom. With that being said, though, now I'm just letting you know, don't be lazy. Don't go the lazy way. Don't go the lazy phase. You know what I'm saying? Work for what you got so you can enjoy it. You can't cheat your way out this system. You know what I mean? The authority, like God allowed, Satan to have, temporary authority, you know what I mean, to run the system where it runs. You know what I'm saying? But it's all according to God's will and God's plan. So, you know what I'm saying? You can't trick the system. We're three-dimensional beings and trying to go up against some four-dimensional beings. You know what I mean? It's a spiritual world. It's like we ourselves, feeble humans, can't defeat these four-dimensional creatures. You know what I'm saying? But God, the five-dimensional being, which and higher dimensionals, but just for us to comprehend, five-dimensional being, you know what I'm saying, can conquer the four-dimensional creatures. As we're three-dimensional beings, we're limited. You get what I'm saying? And that scientific, metaphysical standpoint. You get what I'm saying? So we need God. We can't do it on ourselves. We try to do it on ourselves, we always get corrected every single time. You know what I'm saying? This system been dark for a long time. There's nothing new under the sun, family. You know what I'm saying? Put your trust in God. And with that being said, family, peace.